Good morning, Muscatine, and happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. My name is Autumn Schultz, and I am your host today. I'd like to start off by thanking our sponsors, Hy-Vee, Unity Point Health, Trinity Muscatine, Muscatine Power and Water, Becky Insurance, Toyota of Muscatine, Riva Plumbing and Heating, Impact Fitness and Nutrition, Lutheran Living Senior Campus, Impact Life Blood Center, Harper Cycling and Fitness, Muscatine County Fair, and Bayer of Muscatine. Some events that are coming up this week: please join the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the Business After Hours hosted by Rebuilding Together of Muscatine County. On Thursday, September 8th from 5 to 7, there will be some drinks and light hors d'oeuvres and apps there. So be sure just to go out, network, socialize, and bring out your friends, family, and your coworkers to enjoy Business After Hours with GMCCI. Also, Rebuilding Together is going to be celebrating 15 years of corporate and volunteer collaboration in the Muscatine County. So please go out and join them and celebrate and say congratulations. This Friday from 5:30 to 7:30 is the Muscatine Community Block Party. So we actually had Lindsay Phillips and Megan Francis out last week talking about this block party. So it is back for the 12th year. The several community organizations are gearing up to provide activities and resources for our community, and there's plenty of things to do for kids and family. So this will be held at Discovery Park on Friday from 5:30 to 7:30. My guests today are a couple from Muscatine Power and Water, and we've got a lot to talk about. So I have Brian and Ryan. Nice rhyming there.
That's right.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So please introduce yourself and what you do within MPW.
Well, my name's Brian Butler, and I'm the manager of the water department. And today I'm here to talk about the water system infrastructure and our crews that help maintain it.
Perfect. And we all know Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Streck, Director of Utility Service Delivery. And a big part of utility service delivery is the water production and distribution crew. So I'm here to support Brian and might throw in a couple color comments.
Perfect. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Brian, and I'm going to let you take the wheel.
Okay, sounds great. First of all, you know, the primary goal of the water utility is to provide a safe, abundant, uninterrupted supply of water to our customers. That's our main function. But also, just as important, is we provide fire protection for the city of Muscatine. And you know, these two goals are accomplished by basically our water distribution system, which consists of, among other things, 157 miles of pipe that's under the ground, and we have roughly 1,200 fire hydrants throughout town that help our crews and the fire department access the water of that system. But flushing fire hydrants is much more than just flowing water. It has a lot to do with maintenance of the system, has to do with making sure that every fire hydrant functions properly, and also pulling sediment out of the water mains. Like I had mentioned, the sediment part of it is really why we flush the hydrants, is to try and remove any of the sediment that builds up. It's naturally occurring. It's just part of our water system, and to keep the water quality at a high level, we need to twice a year go through in the spring and the fall and flush fire hydrants.
You know, Brian and the crew make it look easy, and you think it's just opening a hydrant and letting the water flow, but in reality, this is really impactful to not only people's homes, but also their businesses. I mean, you think about people producing food products, things like that. So there's a lot of notifications, a whole lot of logistics and scheduling that play into this, and the crew works really hard to set this up and make it as unimpactful as possible, and they do a really good job.
You know, as a kid, I always thought it was a chance to have a free water, party on the block.
That will work too.
Yeah, for sure. And it is a big planning and scheduling function of our department to, like Ryan said, talk with a lot of our critical customers to make sure that what we're doing doesn't impact their business. And to begin with, we start the flushing process down at the well fields, and we back flush each well and make sure that we clean the lines out from the source, and it roughly takes about a week. So our first week of flushing, you won't see anybody around town because we're down at the well fields cleaning up the wells themselves.
Okay.
I'll jump in again real quick. So one thing that's interesting, you know, we're responsible for the power supply for the city as well. But if a generator comes offline, we can import that power through our robust transmission system, even more robust with our new Line 106 in service. But when it comes to water, we can't bring that in. So Brian and his crew have to work really hard to make sure that we have adequate capacity to meet forecasted demand, and they're looking out 10 years in advance to make sure that we can meet those needs, and they're ready for it. So a maximum pumping event is done at the same time while we're doing these flushing events.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big part of it, making sure that everyone in the utility understands that when we're flushing, we're going to need extra water, we're going to need our reserves topped off at the reservoirs, and it's just, there's a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes. It's kind of funny, actually the nuts and bolts of out in the system flushing hydrants, if folks have gone around town and noticed that there's two different color schemes of fire hydrants. There's blue hydrants and there's white hydrants. And those two color schemes represent what part of the system they serve. In Muscatine, we have two pressure zones that are separated by basically geographical elevations. So anything below the bluff, you'll see fire hydrants that are painted blue with white caps. Anything above the bluff, you'll see white fire hydrants with blue caps. And it's important to designate those hydrants in that manner, because when the guys are flushing, they know which hydrants, because some streets have blue hydrants and white hydrants, and there's two different pipes that run down that street. Like my street, I live on Newell, and we have two different water mains that go down Newell. But when they're flushing, that way they can systematically start from the source and work their way out to the ends of the system. And another factor of those fire hydrant color schemes is that the fire department knows when they're putting out a fire or they're doing their work, they know what system they're connecting to, which is very important.
Wow, I like that.
Kind of,
little fun facts.
Yeah. Another fun fact is MPW, we commit roughly $80,000 a year to fire hydrant repair and replacement around town. We take it very seriously. When the guys are out flushing around town, you know, it gives them an opportunity to open every single hydrant, make sure that it operates correctly, make sure that there's nothing going on with it. We have tablets that the folks use in the field that they can log any maintenance needs of that hydrant, and it goes on our GIS system, so we can create work orders from the information that the folks provide out in the field, which is really handy for, you know, using our dollars wisely.
It's something we continue to expand on too. Like right now with West Hill sewer separation, the plan is to increase the size of some of those mains along, I think it's Clymer Street. We've got some older infrastructure that's smaller, so we'll be taking advantage of the street being open, putting a larger main in, and adding additional fire hydrants for those homes along that route. So it's always on our mind to make sure that we're providing the best fire protection and the best pressure, as well as infrastructure that's not going to break. We want to get those mains replaced when the street's open, because then we can do it for about half the price, because the city's already tearing it up and then replacing those mains or replacing the road, so we don't have to do that as part of the cost of our project. So
Absolutely.
It's a great way to partner with the city and improve the infrastructure.
Is there a code for how many like fire hydrants need to be in a particular, like a neighborhood block, for example?
Well, we have in our water service rules that we like to have fire hydrants every 400 feet.
Okay.
And so that's kind of a rule of thumb that we go by when we're, like Ryan said, when we're planning on water main replacements or upsizing water mains in certain parts of town. We have a really nice GIS system that we can identify every fire hydrant and the distance that they are from each other, and that way it helps in our planning.
Perfect. All right.
So one downside of flushing is, like I mentioned, it pulls all the sediment out of the pipes, but to do that, there's going to be periods of time where we have discolored water throughout town, and sometimes you get lower pressure depending on how hard the folks are flowing those fire hydrants. So we ask customers that, you know, when you see that there's flushing going on in your neighborhood, and when the crews are done, there's still going to be a period of time where the water could be discolored. So if you notice that, if you can let the water run for like 3 to 5 minutes to see if it clears it up, and also try not to run the hot water or do laundry at that time, because you'll pull the sediment into your hot water heater. So try to avoid using the hot water. And if you're just not seeing it clear up after about 30 minutes, and you've been trying, go ahead and call 263-2631, and we'll send an operator out, and we'll reflush one of those hydrants to try and clear up your area, so you don't have to deal with discolored water any longer.
One thing that's great is to try a large tap like the garden hose or a bathtub, because if there are large chunks of sediment, they can be trapped in your aerator So then your bathroom faucet or your kitchen faucet will actually have a reduced flow until you take that off and clean it. Another thing I like to talk about is our low water rates, which we're really proud of. And I did a little math. I got my calculator out this weekend. And a hose can put out about 10 gallons a minute on average. So if we ask you to run that to try to clean up the water that's in your service, even if you run that for 30 minutes, that's about 300 gallons of water. That's only 60 cents.
Okay.
1,000 gallons on our system is about $1.70 after you get past the initial facility fee charge. That incremental another, 200 or 300 gallons is just a matter of 50, 60 cents. So if you can do that, it helps to clean it out very efficiently, very effectively, and then we don't have to send a crew out there sometimes, because that's not cheap, especially if it's after hours, because that's when you get home and find out you've still got some discolored water in your home. So then if we send a crew out there, and we're happy to do that if it's not clearing up, we will get that taken care of. But if we do that just because people won't run their taps a little bit, now you're running up a lot of overtime charges, and that's going to increase the total cost of the water system, and that plays directly into rates.
Yep.
So if we can all do our part and run the taps for 10, 15 minutes to try to clear that up, that goes a long way towards making it happen quickly and for a very low cost.
That's a lot. I mean, I love learning about this because, one, I don't see the bill, my husband does. So I don't know this, now I do. So it's like, okay, hey, I can now figure out that math for myself too.
Well, and it's really convenient to have a bill that has everything on it. It's got the sewer, the garbage, the electric, your cable, your internet, all those things are on there. So you might think, oh, my bill's high. Well, you have to break it down to every part of that bill because you're looking at a lump sum.
Yep.
And when you look at our electric, our water, our internet, any of those rates, they're very, very competitive. And our water is some of the lowest rates around. So we're really proud of that fact, and can really be helpful to know that, and you're not quite so nervous about letting it run. I know one thing I always do is turn all the lights off, even though they're all LEDs now. I still have that in my mind. When you're a parent, you want the lights off, and the refrigerator closed quickly, but these rates are very, very inexpensive. So.
I think we talked about that the last time.
We did. See, I'm always talking about it.
But I love it. It's repetition because we joked about this. Growing up for me was the same thing. I left the light on. My dad would be like, turn that light off.
Yeah.
Same with running water. Do you need the water running? No? Well, then turn it off. You're wasting water. So I like that. I need him to watch this portion of the show now.
I'm happy to represent all dads out there.
So how can people see what's going on when you're doing the hydrant flushing?
Well, this is something that's really cool that I like. If you go to our website, mpw.org/outages, you'll see a button that you can click on that says Flushing Map, and it will bring up our GIS map, and it shows in real time when the operators are flushing the hydrant. The hydrant are their dots. They're represented by dots that are red. And when they flush them and they're done, they'll click out in the field on that hydrant and it'll turn it from red to green. And so you can see at home the progress that our operators are having throughout town. And we also try to note on that map the location that we would be in that specific day.
Okay.
So there should be plenty of information for customers. Also, like Ryan mentioned too, we do talk to our critical customers and plan that out ahead of time. Some laundry services, it would be devastating for their business if they were doing laundry the day that we were flushing in their area. So we coordinate that very well with them.
Good, I like that. So when it comes to, so you said you do it in the spring season and in the fall. Has it happened yet in the fall?
No, actually, fall flushing begins September 26th and it will go through October 21st this year.
Okay, so then like you said earlier, that first full week is down at basically the main base, and then work your way through.
Correct, yep.
And how many hydrants do you average flushing in a day?
Well, it depends. It depends on the sediment that's built up. Sometimes you can flush a hydrant for 10 minutes, and sometimes it takes a half hour or 45 minutes to get it cleared up, depending of the piping configuration and however many hydrants service that water main. So it just depends.
Kind of just gotta wait and see what's going on.
Right. You know, they flush it till it's clear.
Yeah.
I was just thinking you could actually take a screenshot of the map in the morning and play along at home and find out how
Just
many we do
follow
in a
the
day.
water trails.
Track those metrics for us, yeah.
That's how I've always figured out that flushings happen, because if I'm driving around and I see just a bunch of water trails coming down the street, saying, okay, I know where that's coming from, because a lot of it is downhill.
Right.
And then you just see the multiple hydrants going through the process right now.
I mean, if you think about it, we flushed 1,200 hydrants in 3 weeks, so they're moving.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
We also service the outer communities that are homeowners associations. If they have private systems with private fire hydrants that are fed by MPW, then we flush those hydrants as well and report back to them the condition of their facilities.
And do you ever have to, when you're doing the flushing system, do you ever have to replace one if you notice that's
Yes,
kind of
we do.
that your visual check?
If the operator comes across a fire hydrant that's not working properly or it's broken, we actually have bags, they're orange, that we put over top of them, and it's designating that the fire hydrant's not working, and then we notify the fire department that that hydrant is out of service, and then we schedule repair or replacement as soon as we can.
And how long does a replacement repair typically take?
Well, it depends on our schedule, but we can replace a fire hydrant in the morning.
Oh,
Usually,
perfect.
If they start in the morning, they're done by noon.
Oh, well, there we go. Not too terrible.
No.
But I mean, you get to do that twice, obviously multiple times throughout the year, but these are your
Right.
good really 2 times to really check to make sure that they are working properly.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think that's neat. I would say I love seeing the construction portion of it, especially on that second slide, just seeing what these water mains really look like underneath. People don't get to see that. All they see is someone standing there with a fire hydrant blasting water.
Right.
They don't see the backs, like kind of the back scene of what you all have to process and do.
I mean, if you think about it, there was 157 miles of pipe in Muscatine, and times that I've had to give little presentations to, school-age kids, I'll relate that to, it's about the distance from here to Adventureland. So, if they've ever gone to Adventureland, they know how long it takes to get there. And if you line all of our pipe up end to end, that's about that same distance.
Just go, walk to Adventureland today.
Yeah.
You'll know the mileage.
There's a lot of infrastructure underground for sure.
Perfect. I think that's great information. I think even just in the sense of understanding once a hydrant flushing, what the process is even at home. And are you saying, like, especially running cold water for that, maybe that 3 to 10 minutes, is that every faucet shower, or is it just one? Like if I just did the bathtub?
Just the bathtub would be good. Like Ryan said, if you could find a faucet that has a lot of flow,
okay,
and use that one. It's mainly to clear out your service line and all of your piping internally to make sure that nothing is disturbed internally in your system, and then it's actually representative water from the water main.
All right, there we go. Well, that's easy. I've got visual sighting, I've got knowledge on what to do afterwards, and understanding of what the whole process is. And you also have something exciting coming up on Friday.
We do.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, we're doing the ribbon cutting on our line 106. Line 106 is energized. It should be tied together today. We've tied it together once and ran into a couple little data issues. We ironed those out last week, and we should be tying the line together today, but it is energized. Construction's complete, and we're very excited to have that in place. It's been a long time coming, and looking forward to the event.
Yeah, I would say I was really excited about it. I read the article through Discover Muscatine. I love the Line 106. I think that's going to be fun and something that's fun to celebrate. Early in the morning for me, but I will be fine. I will make it through.
Right before we started, one of our landowners walked by, Larry, and he said he might see us out there Friday. But I got to meet a great bunch of people as we got easements and worked through that process, and the whole thing's been wonderful. So
easy breeze.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Nice to see it done.
Little hiccups, but manageable and adaptable.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Ryan, any other information that you would like to share about hydrant flushing within the water system at MPW?
No, just if you have any problems at your home with the discolored water, or if there's anything that's disrupting you, just call 263-2631 and ask for the water department, and we'll talk to you about any issues, and we're very accommodating and try to help out in any way we can to minimize the impact.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. Any additional information you need to?
I would just say if it's after hours, the water department will be home resting, but we'll still have our people there. So just give us a call anytime. We're staffed locally, 24/7, 365, and we'll get you taken care of.
Water department always needs a break. Everyone needs a little rest and recovery. Perfect. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on and giving this knowledge and information for us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Muscatine, until then, stay happy and stay healthy. I will see you later.
Hi, I'm TJ Deere, General Manager here at Toyota of Muscatine.
Hi, I'm Megan and I'm from Muscatine.
My name is Logan and I'm from Muscatine.
Here at Toyota Muscatine, we believe in investing in our community.
And that's why all our members are local to the Muscatine area.
It's why we give generously to charities based in our city.
Because we believe that giving back means paying it forward.
That's why an investment in us is an investment in our community.